Hello, Sunny Bonani! It is 9:06 Central African Time. Welcome to Tier 3 Breakaway League Racing. As you can see, we are, just a couple, if not just one more driver away from getting this session underway. It is race number 14. Welcome to Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, the famous circuit in Mexico City, named after the famous Ricardo, I beg your pardon, and Pedro Rodriguez, a pair of racing brothers, a circuit which was built all the way back in 1959 at the request, of course, of those two brothers. The then president of Mexico was Adolfo Lopez Mateo, who obliged building this iconic circuit. It has since hosted a beautiful history of Grand Prix, the first of which was all the way back in 1963. It's a 4.3 kilometer long track. It has a lap record of 117.774. That's in the real world, of course, a record held by none other than Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas. It looks like Fana Finder has found his way into this lobby. Billy Hendricks is here representing Aston Martin today. Wenger in, Zule, Eslindo, the Nuccio is also here, as is Cubzinho. And, of course, Wandal Shezi in the colors of McLaren is also represented here. I do wonder if Wandal's partner in crime, his teammate, that being, of course, none other than Skinny Gamer, if we'll be seeing him once things get underway here. Well, that will be evident in due course, in due time. For now, thank you for choosing Tier 3 action of Breakaway League Racing. We should be underway without too much delay from here on out. Of course, if you click on our channel icon, you'll be able to see that the Tier 2 race is still underway. So it's a double dose of Breakaway League Racing action. The Tier 2 race is in its final stages at this point. And as far as I am aware, the likes of Sun Hashira leads the Tier 2 race with 6 more laps of racing to go. He had a sensational qualifying, and he's being chased, is Sun Hashira, by Tindo. But the gap between the front two in Tier 3 is about 10.3 seconds at last check. But, of course, we're going to wait now to get the action underway here in the third tier. The leader, as far as the championship standings for Tier 3, and the man in prime position to win this championship is none other than Mercurial Caesar. Racked up 80 points since the start of the season, but as I say that man at the top of this here grid, Wandal Shezi, who's highlighted now, is level on points with the championship leader, Mercurial Caesar. Skinny Gamer, who likes to race in McLaren colors in this league. He's currently third in the standings. So remember, the top 3 drivers get automatically promoted to Tier 2 at the end of the season. And after tonight, it's going to be just 2 more races of the Tier 3 season left. The Seychelles, that being AJ Kumar, is currently 4th in the standings. They have 66 points. And Quali is 5th in the standings on just 60 points. So those drivers in P4 and 5 definitely have a chance to find their way into the automatic promotion spots if they can put together a string of sensational performances. But sadly, none of AJ and Quali are here today. Fana Finder is in the lobby in the colors of Red Bull, as you can see. Fana Finder currently 6th in the championship standings, and as it stands, Fana Finder would be the last of the 3 drivers to take part in the playoffs. At the bottom of the standings are Mo01 Avan, Oruma11, yes, 11. He's currently bottom with 19. Mablur is currently P18 in the driver's standings, and Cubzinho is currently P17. Cubzinho is, of course, in this here lobby, and Cubzinho's racked up just 10 championship points up until this point. But, of course, Cubzinho did join this league a little bit later than most, so really getting accustomed to proceedings here. Simps RSA has come into Tier 3 pretty much on fire, pretty much since making their debut. They've racked up 30 points, and Simps is currently P14 in the standings. So if Simps were here to be racing indeed, then it would have been really he would have been fighting among the front runners. Interestingly, folks, if you look on the loading screen, it looks like none other than SSL Mango is here to make their presence felt for Tier 3 Breakaway League racing action. SSL Mango, one of the most prolific drivers on this game, not only in South Africa, but indeed in the entire region. And hey, who even knows, perhaps on the entire PlayStation platform. So thank you, everybody, for making sure that you're joining us at Tier 3 action. We're going to look forward to the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez circuits. It's quite high. It's about 2 kilometers above sea level, and it's a breathless experience for both drivers and spectators. It still follows the outline of the original 1959 circuit, and of course, the main difference being, of course, that the spectacularly scary Peralta corner is now bisected. Before I get too ahead of myself, it is, of course, one-shot quali here in the top tier, the third tier, I beg your pardon, of Breakaway League Racing. Let's see how the likes of SSL Mango, who we know is super quick, will fare. Wenger in leads proceedings in the rush all the way towards turn number 1. And they've navigated that pretty much perfectly. But as I say that, Mango, as Offense notes, is definitely one to watch. Mango leads the proceedings thus far. Sector 1 split of a 28.508 at the end of that first sector. Looking absolutely sensational is Mango, coming out now of turn number 6 and sends it rushing towards turn 7, which of course leads straight into the S section. And look how far on the limit he is willing to go, not afraid of those curves at all, carrying so much speed, 6th gear through the end of the S section, up to 7, up to 8. And he is on the limit. His entry into turn number 12 is in 4th gear. Mango lighting things up and giving, setting some fiery summary heat, if you will, onto this here qualifying session. Looking sensational. Here he comes towards the line. Offense is excited, as am I. It's a 116.022 in Tier 3 of Breakaway League Racing. And look at that gap. That gap is absolutely sensational. By far the quickest time that we have seen in the entire Breakaway League Racing stable, including the time set in Tier 2. Man, oh man, oh man, I am absolutely keen beyond words to see what this man, Mango, can do in the Breakaway League Racing stable. He's joined the season quite late in the day, but who knows what he can do. I do hope that we'll see him, and not only today, but in the remaining couple of races. One-shot quali, he puts in a 116.022. Mango, take a bow. Quality coming to show exactly what he is made of, and pretty much laying down the gauntlet to the entire Breakaway Racing League stable. Welcome to Tier 3 action here in the Breakaway Racing League. Simps has joined the lobby, but I'm afraid it might yet be too late for Simps. He may not have joined in time to be in line for a grid start. Offense responding with fire emojis in the commentary box. Don Radico barely believing what we've just seen. Offense says, look at that 3-second gap. It is absolutely sensational stuff. It's gray skies out here in Mexico. The crowd in the Paddock Club is absolutely pumped. They're clapping. They're in the plush seats, of course. And, even if it rains, I'm pretty sure they'll be looking pretty comfortable. They got bounce seats to see exactly how the pit stops go and how everybody fares in this 25%er of a race out here at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. Thank you, everybody, for choosing Tier 3 Breakaway League Racing action. We have 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's the only time South Africans look forward to the lights going out. We are racing in Mexico. It's Cubzino trying to make his presence felt versus Mango, of course, and it's a little bit of a scrap between the likes of Billy Hendricks and Zule in that P3 spot. Billy Hendricks steals the mark on Zule. He's up to P2. Billy Hendricks in the Aston Martin has to brake later. Cubzino almost going into the back of Mango. Cubzino drives Billy Hendricks off the track, but Billy Hendricks is going to fight back here into turn 2, and he's got that P4 spot on lockdown, or does he? Because here comes Wendell Chesney for Team McLaren, now fighting his way into the reckoning. It's a 4-way fight for the race lead. Wendell Chesney has to relent. Billy Hendricks has the move. Oh, and the Ferrari of Zule hits Mango coming through turn 5 into 6. And once again, Zule making contact with the Alfa Romeo of Cubzino. They now rush towards turn 7. It's SL Mango with a half-a-second advantage on Zule. Billy Hendricks hoping to make his presence felt. Now into the treacherous S sections, and the drivers behind are having trouble staying in touch with the supreme race leader. S. Lindo becomes the first casualty of this race. He has retired. Here comes Billy Hendricks on the inside of Zule. They're wheel to wheel and into turn 12. Oh no! Zule unrelenting, uncompromising as he brakes so late, almost going to the back of Mango. Again, Billy Hendricks fights back on these slow sequences of corners, and we have yellow flags all around, and they're slowing down because that absolutely breathless start has been interrupted by the safety car, courtesy of S. Lindo being the first casualty to crash out of this race. Interestingly, Billy Hendricks takes the opportunity to come into the pit early, and he'll take this opportunity just to make sure that his pit stop is well and truly done. We saw the strategy in the previous race last time out. Billy Hendricks, Cubzino, and the Nuccio, the 3 drivers opting to come straight into the pits at very early stage, early doors here. Man, oh man, what a breathless start we had here. Remember, we will have 18 laps of racing out here in Mexico. Billy Hendricks and Cubzino opting to go with a set of medium compound tires. The Nuccio, meanwhile, selecting those hard compound tires. Now, Zule has been, uncompromising in his race start thus far. Had a couple of skirmishes with the likes of Cubzino and a moment into the back of SSL Mango. So Mango is perhaps, not going to take that lightly. He was just looking to build as much of a gap as possible. Mango coming into this third tier of the Breakaway League racing with such a sensational reputation as one of the quickest drivers on this PlayStation platform, indeed in South Africa, and who knows, perhaps even the world over. A beautiful quality it was for him, laying down the early gauntlet, and he's sure to make his presence felt. Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what kind of action he will be able to dish out here in the third tier Breakaway League racing. Now, under safety car, S. Lindo being the casualty, we have Zule running at P2, Wendell Chesney, P3, Wenger is in P4, and Fana Finder finds himself P5. He's the last of the drivers that opted not to come into the pit when the safety car made its presence felt. Billy Hendricks, P6 from Cubzino, and the Nuccio rounding off our grid as things currently stand. Some early action, a breathless start. Wendell Chesney opts to come into the pits, taking advantage of the safety car, making another evolution around this here circuit in Mexico City, and he will fit a set of hard compound tires. So Wendell Chesney knows what he has to do here today. He just needs a very, very good result. Possible a podium finish for him will put this Tier 3 championship firmly in his control. Wendell Chesney level on points with the championship leading Mercurial Caesar, who is not here today. Mango icons from the likes of Esquello, who is quite interested to see what this superstar driver can do, of course, in the colors of Red Bull here today. Once again, Zule right on his tail already has made acquaintance with the back of that Red Bull, and he's just going to have to play the long game here and be careful. He has been uncompromising. We saw Zule have a couple of moments of coming together with the likes of Billy Hendricks, but will it be clean for Zule from here on out? Zule, of course, is in P11. He's racked up 34 championship points up until this point of the championship. And Wenger In is currently in P8. So Wenger In is dreaming of a playoff spot at the very least. And then he'll throw his hat into the ring, so to speak, for a playoff spot versus the Tier 2 drivers who are in danger at this current moment in time. Race Control has given the word that the safety car is in at the end of this lap. And SSL Mango will set it off and get us going. And we'll see what kind of a race restart Mango gets.
Noma ngiyava nomuntu asitropa ngama fruit salad elikangaka le eMexico. Ngicabanga 116 quali kanjani ku tier 3.
Yes, Kanjani indeed. Once again, Zule making contact with the back of SSL Mango. He will not be happy with that. There goes Mango. Half a second already, and he weaves to the right, breaking the toe, breaking the slipstream that Zule would have hoped, would have dreamed to have. Mango weaving left and right, trying to get a semblance of temperature into those tires as he begins lap 4 of 18. Kanjani indeed asks to bang in the comment section. Mango gets a clean exit out of these initial sequences of corners and now sends it absolutely rushing towards turn number turn 4, I believe it is. It's a left-hander and a nice clean exit. Look at Mango, 1.4 seconds before the end of this lap, make it a second and a half. He's looking absolutely imperious, is Mango. Wenger in is trying to hang on to the coattails of Zule while Fana Finder is on the brink of a potential overtake if he can keep it together. But he needs to navigate this S section cleanly. Behind Fana Finder is Billy Hendricks, who's hoping to find himself into that P4 spot. The Alfa Romeo Cubzino goes wide through the S section, and now he loses a lot of ground, almost a second off of Billy Hendricks, who was absolutely hunting down Fana Finder in front of him. Meanwhile, Danuccio goes on the inside of Cubzino. He thought about it, but he could not get that move done at that particular point in time. Wendell Shezzy on those brand new hard compound tires is trying to warm them up. Look at that. SSL Mango, quickest man on track with a 3-second advantage already at the end of the first lap after the race restart. Lap number 5 of 18. SSL Mango is the leader. He is the gold standard in this race out here in Mexico. Behind him by about 3 seconds is Zule, who's managed to get some breathing room between himself and Wenger in. Meanwhile, looks like Fana Finder and Billy Hendricks are having an almighty scuffle. Billy Hendricks trying to fight his way back, but he could not get the move done. Fana Finder now up to P4 in that battle for the podium positions. Let's get on board now with Cubzino, who had an almighty scuffle with Billy Hendricks. They may yet resume that battle as this race trickles on towards its midpoint and the second half. But we still have a couple of laps of racing before we get to that point. It's Cubzino hunting down the Aston Martin of Billy Hendricks. Of course, Billy being stuck in that battle between Fana Finder and Wenger in has to be a little more careful. It looks like Fana Finder was thinking about going for it on Wenger in, who gets a cleaner entry and exit into the S's. Mango has almost a 5-second advantage. It's Cubzino. Look at the little bit of contact between Billy Hendricks and Fana Finder, but Fana Finder comes off worse off. They make contact. Billy Hendricks goes off track over there. His car is total, but not quite to be DNF'd. Fana Finder will be seething. They made contact, fighting it out so hard, bringing up the second safety car of the day. And it looks like SSL Mango was too far ahead because he's already passed the pit lane. And they're now going to be behind the safety car once again, fighting so aggressively in this changed circumstance. That being, of course, the presence of SSL Mango, who has sprinkled his own fair share of panic and drama among the field as they try to keep up with his sensational pace. Zule is still in P2, but he's now going to have to fight his way away from the chasing pack again. Wenger in, finding himself now up to the podium places. And Cubzino now up to P4. He will be glad, wiping the sweat off his brow somehow from underneath that helmet because that battle did not claim neither him nor this man, the Nuccio, I beg your pardon. So it is absolutely crucial times. Billy Hendricks, an enforced pit stop with a wing change. He comes out on a brand spanking new set of medium compound tires. Man, oh man, oh man. Billy Hendricks has been the protagonist in a couple of battles up until this point. Huge moment making contact in that scuffle, that battle with Fana Finder. And sadly for Fana, he is now out of this race as he then leaves the lobby. Hey, Billy Hendricks, go easy on that ERS. Turn it off. It's safety car conditions. He's still not turned off his battery power as he tries to catch up to the back of the pack. They're going to wait for you. You no need to drain your battery. Man, oh man, oh man. What a sensationally dramatic race we've had thus far. Wendell Shezzy has already made his pit stop, so he's not going to be worried about that. Everybody from Cubzino downwards has made their pit stop. Cubzino, Nuccio, Shezzy, and Billy Hendricks enforced stop makes it a total of 2 for him. Will Mango opt to come into the pits? The answer this time is No, he carries on. Zule says, okay, whatever, man. I'll come into the pits if you won't. And that promotes, of course, Cubzino up to P2. So Zule and Wenger in are into the pits. It's going to be a double stack for Team Ferrari. Wenger in waits for his teammate to get out the way, as Ludacris said all those years ago. And now it's Wenger's turn to get out of that pit box. But as he does so, Billy Hendricks will claim a couple of scalps. Billy Hendricks, who had that pit stop, is now up to P5. Hello, Daniel Mack. It's good to see you in the comment section. It's good to see everybody in this comment section. I can imagine a lot of interest around the performance of this man, SSL Mango, a superb talent, as we've already seen. And we saw him build an almost 4-second advantage at the restart of that lap after that first safety car. Real Caboza says SSL Mango is in the race. SSL Mango. Oh, I think I was just watching the wrong commentary section there. I was watching the Tier 2 commentary section. Let's catch up with some of your comments now. Caboza was saying Zule was low-key fast, but he makes mistakes. We've already seen a couple of moments of Zule making contact with some of the drivers, some unforced errors there. Man Ray says, last to first challenge unless there's another safety car. Tabanga Menguni says, Mango is doing what Don Radico did to this tier. Escalo says, Man Ray or Mango is a problem, even worse than Don Radico. Well, we have gotten the word from race control that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Let's go, Cubzino, said the likes of Daniel Mack. Don Radico says he's going to struggle passing. He might crash because he's not used to the sensational pace that people show from time to time. The Kid K says, when did Tier 3 get so many viewers? What the heck is going on? It's called Superstar Racers making their presence felt in this tier. Ty Caboza, if Mango wins all the remaining races, will he make it? I will have to check that out. So maybe Kid K can check that. Can Mango somehow make it into the playoffs at the very least? Meanwhile, he has gone off on an absolute flyer. Once again, it's Mango leading the race. And before turn 1, he's already made an 8-second gap between himself and Nucho. Wandel Chesney hunting down Nucho meanwhile. So we're going to watch those gaps carefully. Cubzino may have made an error, costing him another pit stop. He's now come out in a fresh set of soft compound tires. Kid K says, hey, get Mango out of here. So maybe you guys can let me know if you can calculate whether or not Mango can miraculously make his way into the playoffs. My hunt says he may have joined this Tier 3 this Tier 3 fight a little too late, but anything is possible. On board now with Zule, who's got the pace, but was prone to errors a little bit earlier on. Right now, SSL Mango has a 2.5-second advantage, almost 3-second advantage to the driver in P2. Look at that. Zule had a little bit of moments at the beginning of the S section, but he manages to keep it together in the hunt versus Billy Hendricks, who racks up a 3-second time penalty. Man, oh man, oh man. The new season is going to be lit, says Kid K. Looking forward to everybody who is so pacey making their ascent to the higher tiers of the Breakaway Racing League stable. We have 10 laps of racing to go. Make that 9 because we're at the halfway point of this race. It is SSL Mango leading by a 4-second margin. But of course, the battles to watch are those in the midfield. Zule versus Billy Hendricks versus Wandel Chesney. Wenger is trying, huffing and puffing to stay in touch, but he cannot do that at this point in time. Into turn 1 goes the Nucho. Wandel Chesney follows through Billy Hendricks, and we're on board with Zule, who is chasing down Billy, whose red light is flashing at this point. Billy Hendricks draining all of that battery just to try and stay in touch with this midfield battle at this particular point. Mango Juice freshly squeezed in Mexico City, Mexico, as they now make their way past turn 6 towards 7 and the beginning of the F section, where it must be said SSL Mango has already got a 5.7-second advantage. Man, oh man, he is too much for Tier 3. Here comes Zule through the F section. He's got to be careful, of course, on those curves. He was careful not to go too heavy and lose his car, and thus those precious positions at this particular point. Hunting down Billy Hendricks, He knows that he's got that advantage because Hendricks has got that 3-second advantage. 118.811 in lap 10. Mango juice freshly squeezed once again. It is absolutely tasty. Sweet natural sugar in that RB18 engine. Now let's see if Zule can finally get this attacking move done and translate it and convert it into an overtake. Hunting down Billy Hendricks, who is pretty much out of battery. Zule is braver on the brakes compared to Billy Hendricks. He comes right onto his tail, but he's not quite there to affect that overtake. SSL Mango has an 8.5 second advantage. He will pit and still win, says Zotal in the comment section. Wouldn't that be something? Look at that advantage that he already has just a couple of laps into the restart. Wenger In is struggling to stay in touch with this chasing pack. Cubzino is languishing all the way in P7, and he comes into the pits again. Does Cubzino struggling, perhaps having moments of spins. Cubzino is now on the verge of being lapped because he's just come in. We're now going to have to check in with SSL Mango. It's another wing change for Cubzino, and by the time he comes out, he's got to be careful. This may be SSL Mango lapping Cubzino, who was now moving slowly towards the pit exit. Here comes SSL Mango. It's another quick lap, marginally slower than the fastest lap that he had set. He now has Cubzino in his sights in lap 11 of 18. It may yet be blue flags waving for Cubzino, telling him to make way for the faster cars, and that is SSL Mango lapping the Alfa Romeo driver who was fighting for his life down at the bottom there. Wendell Chesney chasing the Nuccio. 11 seconds is now the gap. Wendell Chesney opts to go on the outside in that rush towards turn one. Ooh, almost making contact. He has to make a little bit of a wide berth, and of course that slows him down, bringing Billy Hendricks into the clutches of a possible overtaker. On board now with the Aston Martin driver, who's managed, despite significantly lower battery, to build a 1.1 second buffer between himself and the chasing car. Contact! Billy Hendricks, overly aggressive, makes contact with Wendell Chesney, who will be thankful that he did not spin out there. But Billy Hendricks' moment of contact has brought Zule back into the equation. Zule with the inside line through the right-hander. And now here comes the Ferrari driver chasing Billy Hendricks. He's been huffing and puffing, trying to get this overtake done for lap after lap. We're now trickling towards the end of this here race. Can he get it done? Oh man, the Zule is trying as he might, but he just can't scratch Billy Hendricks. He just can't shake him. He just can't overtake the Aston Martin driver, who went overly aggressive there. And of course, remember, Billy Hendricks has that time penalty to contend with. Now, so does Wendell Chesney. It's Operation 3-second gap. It might be impossible for Wendell Chesney. He needs to get a 3-second buffer between himself and the likes of Zule. But with so few laps remaining, just 6 laps to go, it may yet be too little too late, too much to ask for Wendell Chesney to get out of that. But here comes Billy Hendricks on the attack again. But he was not close enough to get that done. Look at that gap. Lap 12 of 18, a 14-second advantage. SSL Mango is cruising in the front there.
kumnandi ku-SSL Mango bamthelela nekhamera kule bhodlela leyo baliphuzayo kumnandi angathola namaskonto lapho ku-pit lane.
Hey, there's contact between the Aston Martin and Wendell Chesney, who spins off. He will be absolutely livid with that. Billy Hendricks going into the back of the McLaren. Wendell Chesney spinning off and tumbling down to P5. Wendell Chesney was in a prime position to get a decent point haul to consolidate his lead of this championship. ERX is always on for Billy Hendricks, so says Zotal. Absolutely, he's not turned it off. Just a couple more laps, 6 more laps of racing here to go. Billy going offline. Billy really struggling. Man, oh man, Billy blanking out his ERS in lap 12 of 18 as SSL Mango finally comes into the pits, having built up a 17-second buffer before he came in. It's going to be fresh softs for the final 5 laps, and I shudder to think what this looks like for the rest of the field. Who passes SSL Mango? It's going to be everybody. Will Wendell Chesney even surpass the lightning hot Red Bull? The answer is yes. But what kind of a gap will Wendell Chesney have in this battle versus SSL Mango, who does not have a time penalty to contend with? But as we've seen, he has more than enough pace, more than enough nous, more than enough racecraft to find his way back into the reckoning for a potential potentially sensational race win from this perspective. To get a sense of the gap between the Nucho and Mango, it is currently 8.5 seconds. With soon to be 4 laps of racing to go. The field has really kind of spread out at this point. Wenger has struggled for just the performance here today. He's about 7 seconds behind I beg your pardon, 19 seconds behind the race leader. Cabzino had been lapped. He's now 1 minute to 12 seconds behind the race leader. Zotal puts his faith, his vote of confidence into Venuccio, who is no stranger to the Breakaway League racing stable. He is no mug. He is a pacey driver in his own right, and Zotal reckons he can win this race. He crosses the line to make it 4 more laps of racing to go out here in Mexico City. Meanwhile, Zule versus Billy Hendricks, round number 13. Zule finally gets the move done on the Aston Martin driver. He is ahead going into turn 1. Billy Hendricks, don't make unnecessary moves. Almost going into the back of the Ferrari goes Billy Hendricks, but he's not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Zule was within DRS of Venuccio. So we have a battle for the lead of the race here. And as these top 3 fight, it's going to bring SSL Mango into the reckoning, because that 8-second gap has been trimmed in just a couple of laps to just 4. Now 3.7 seconds is SSL Mango to the leader of this race. But of course, we're on board now with Zule hunting down the race leader. The top 2 drivers do not have time penalties. It looks like Venuccio may have had a cleaner start to the S section, but Venuccio much more conservative, much slower compared to Zule, who now has DRS on the rush towards turn 12. Will he go wide? Will he go inside? He's up to the outside line, does Zule. Oh, it's contact into turn 12, and thankfully Venuccio does not come unstuck too much there. But as these 2 fight, it's going to bring the likes of Mango into the reckoning. He's already surpassed Wendell Chesney has SSL Mango. He's going to be one to watch now on board with the SSL Mango. Billy Hendricks is a danger. He is the danger. SSL Mango is the quickest man on track. Look at that. Billy Hendricks has insane straight line speed. But does Mango fight it with ERS? The answer is no. Mango, even at this stage of this race, is being conservative with his battery usage. Into turn 1 they come. Contact between Billy and SSL Mango, but Mango gets the move, and he is now into the podium places. Secured socket lines, says Tabangam and Goonie in the comment section. Back on board with SSL Mango. It's going to be a sensational performance for a Hall of Fame possible race run. This time it's Mango with the mistake. Perhaps he was much braver on the brakes compared to the likes of Zule. This time, Mango, who brakes later, hits Zule. I do wonder how much damage that front wing would have taken. SSL Mango now going to have to be much more careful on his braking compared to the likes of Zule, who's a little bit more conservative as things currently stand. It is SSL Mango through the S sections. He might have the inside line. Will they make a little bit of contact? No! SSL Mango with the cleanest of overtakes in the S section before coming out of turn 11. Beautiful. Billy Hendricks attacking Zule again. Oh, they make contact and Zule spins out. He becomes the latest victim of Billy Hendricks as far as making contact is concerned. Both Zule and Billy have a huge moment. Billy now down to P5. Man, oh man, what an insane race we have over here. Zule breaking so early. What a move, what an overtake. Timo Cross says, here comes SSL Mango to reclaim the race lead with 2 laps of racing to go. It's wheel-to-wheel racing, they side by side. It's SSL Mango on the outside line. He will be naturally braver on the brakes. Will the Nucho fight it into turn 1? SSL Mango clear ahead. He's a car length ahead. And he reclaims the race lead in race lap number 16 of a total 18 out here in Mexico. Absolutely sensational stuff. And on the exit of those initial sequences of corners, he already has a 1.5 second advantage, and his sector 1 is a personal improvement by more than half a second. So he is imperious. He is sensational. He is a driver to whom this field has absolutely no answer. SSL Mango, take a bow. Fruity flavor, no preservatives. Freshly squeezed mango in Mexico City. Absolutely sensational stuff. In the comment section, barely believing it. Zotal, Radico, Kid K, everybody responding to this absolutely iconic performance in by a driver who is pretty much making his presence felt on the Breakaway League Racing stable for the first time ever. I do wonder what this driver could do in a race versus the top tier drivers. He sets a 16.74 with some fuel on board. SSL Mango putting in an S-tier performance in the third tier of Breakaway League Racing. Look at that gap, 5.5 seconds. The Nucho doing well to stay in that top two spots. They've shaken off the likes of Wandal Chessie, who has that 3-second time penalty to contend with. He is now about 7 seconds behind the race leader, but Wandal is about a 1.5 seconds behind the Nucho. Behind Wandal is Zule, who's had a topsy-turvy race by his standards, having all those moments. Zotal barely believing the fastest lap that we're seeing in this. And Man Ray says that's not even the kind of times that people can do in qualifying. Remember, SSL Mango has fuel on board, and he's putting in sensational times in the third tier of Breakaway League Racing. An absolute masterclass. Estella wants a doping test for the likes of SSL Mango. Barely believing what we're seeing here as far as those times are concerned. Billy Hendricks has a 6-second time penalty to contend with. He has a damaged wing. Front right wing end plate is gone for the Aston Martin driver. He is about 6.5 seconds behind Zule, trying to hang on to that P5 spot. Wenger in has had his fair share of issues, running at P6 currently in the final lap of racing, which has just been begun by Mango. Beautiful stuff by this sensational driver. Cubzino running in P7. He's really struggled as Cubzino. A couple of pit stops enforced, of course, by losses of that wing. Let's get back to the battle for P2, at least across the line, because Wandal Chessie is hunting down the Nucho. But sadly for Wandal, of course, is that 3-second time penalty. But this being Breakaway, it is, of course, overtake the man on track no matter what it takes.
Noma kanjani zama phutha ndo phutha wethu ungambamba.
Yes, Ungambamba, indeed. If Wandal Chessie manages to keep it clean, keep it together, keep it without incidents, especially through the S section. Freshly blended mango juice. The mango icons are pouring in for the man who has absolutely set this race, this tier, this entire league stable on fire. SSL Mango with an S-tier performance comes to bring it home in the final lap with a 1 minute 17.980 to win in Mexico by a 13.5 second advantage. Take a bow, SSL Mango. That is some absolutely sensational stuff. Coming home in P2 will be the Nucho, who fought hard, flying the breakaway flag high. Wandal Chessie comes home in the third and final podium spot, and Zule will come home P4. What a dramatic race for him. Billy Hendricks coming home, bringing it home for Aston Martin. Damaged wing, but no problem for Billy Hendricks. It's P5 for him. Wenger is in P6 by the time he crosses the line. It's going to be a welcome points haul for Wenger in, and Cubzino, who was already lapped, will bring it home in P7. Man, oh man, oh man, what a sensational race we have had there. Man Ray says mangoes from Venda. Escalo says, can we send them straight to Tier 1? Express train! The Nucho is the vote of the game's driver of the day. Who's your driver of the day? Who's your driver of the day? Let me know in the comment section. What an absolutely sensational Tier 3 race we have had. Barely believing the performances that we've seen. Tabanga Nanduni says, salute. And perhaps not quite expecting that. There goes that man. SSL Mango S-tier performance. The man to absolutely light up the entire Breakaway League Racing stable. To put the entire league from the championship leader of Tier 1 down to the stragglers of Tier 3. Everybody is on notice. SSL Mango has arrived, and he's Zotal's driver of the day. Escalo, thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, we will see these drivers next time out. What a beautiful Tier 3 race, a beautiful advertisement for the entire Breakaway League Racing stable. Look at that. Fastest lap, 16.674. The closest driver, as far as those times are concerned, is none other than It looks like Wandel Shezi with a 21.158 in comparison. So that's the difference, the gulf in class. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Congratulations to the 3 podium finishers. We will see you for Tier 1 action tomorrow on this year channel at 7:30 Central African Time. Thank you and good night.